We've been conducting an investigation into illegal Greek pushbacks. That's the practice where the Greek authorities are taking refugees from the Greek islands, taking them out into international waters, into Turkish territorial waters, and in some cases abandoning them in boats. Now, what we saw tonight, quite frankly, was hard to believe, so we'll talk you through exactly what happened. We've been embedded for the last few days with the Turkish coastguard. The Turkish coastguard received a call from the emergency services giving them the number of a refugee who said that they were in distress. They then contacted that refugee who was on the boat. They asked them to send their location by WhatsApp. When we arrived at the location, there was a boat of at least 20 refugees very low down in the water. The people were waving at us and calling for help. The Greek Coast Guard boat was almost within touching distance of the refugee boat. And there was also the presence of what the Turkish Coast Guards call a Greek rebel boat, a smaller dinghy with just 2 people on it. Now, the Turkish Coast Guards tell us that that is too few people for a rescue to be carried out. So they say what we were witnessing was an illegal pushback. Further evidence of that is the fact that the Turkish authorities then warned the Greek authorities that under international law they were obliged to help those refugees in distress that were on Greek territorial waters. The refugees were taken onto the Greek boat, but instead of being taken to land, which would have just taken 30 minutes to reach the island of Lesbos, the Greek island of Lesbos, instead the Greek boat has been driving around the waters for 4 hours in very cold, very wet, very windy conditions. Now, as we said, those refugees that we saw were obviously in distress, in a boat very low down in the water, waving and calling for help. The incident that we witnessed raises huge questions for both the Greek authorities, the EU border agency Frontex, and we're going to be asking those questions and carrying out this investigation.
All right, let's stay with the story and bring in Peter Kessler, who is the spokesperson at the United Nations Refugee Agency, the UNHCR. Peter, good to have you on the show. You saw Sarah's report there, the way that she witnessed these pushbacks. What do you make of these images? I want to start off with that. I mean, the fact that you have a group of very distressed refugees being circled by the Greek Coast Guard in the way that they were.
Well, we don't know where those images took place along the sea border, but indeed they are very alarming images. And of course, people in distress should be able to reach safety, should be permitted to reach safety as soon as possible.
Okay. I have to take Sarah's word on that. As a channel, as a reporter, I trust her. She says that this pushback was taking place in Greek waters. I mean, so let's just work on that assumption. These pushbacks are executed without the consideration of the migrants' individual circumstances. It looks like it. It's done without any possibility for these refugees applying for asylum, clearly. And the most basic fact is that they are illegal under international law. Your thoughts?
Well, since earlier this year, Greece has initiated a strict border management policy, beginning, of course, up on the Evros land border, which has been accompanied by credible allegations of pushbacks. And UNHCR systematically asked the Greek authorities to examine these allegations. As you're saying, efforts to deter people smuggling should not impinge upon the need to demonstrate basic humanity and to respect the rights of people who may be fleeing persecution and or conflict in their countries of origin. So all persons have the basic right to seek protection and to have to undergo an asylum screening process, which is not a sort of simple process that can happen at sea, but indeed requires people to undergo interviews.
What is your agency doing, Peter, the UNHCR?
Well, whenever we receive credible reports, either directly through interviews we undertake or through other information, we pass them to local and national Greek authorities and ask that the allegations be examined. Again, of course, we have also seen reports from the Council of Europe Committee to Prevent Torture, which recently released a report requesting the same kinds of investigations take place.
So the fact that you are asking authorities to look into many questions that are being raised in terms of how authorities are handling the situation, is that all that can be done at this point?
Well, it's clear that access to asylum is guaranteed under Greek law. It's guaranteed under European law. It's guaranteed under international law. It has to be respected. If people are not able to access that, these allegations need to be examined at the highest level by prosecutors, ombudsmen, whatever relevant authority is available, and that's what we ask for. Because indeed, it's very important that international rights, are upheld.
Peter Kessler, thank you very much for joining us. I do appreciate your time and your analysis. Thank you.